Hi guys, hi everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're still rocking with me, thank you so much for your support. I decided to do something a little different. I decided to tell my fool's journey. I know the traditional fool's journey that you hear about, with the fool being basically a infant and then encountering the empress and the emperor. So I decided to do something a bit different. I'm sorry, there's like bugs flying everywhere and it's driving me insane. I don't like bugs. I love nature, but I don't like bugs. So anyway, I decided I really wanted to tell my fool's journey. I felt led to doing this. So let's go ahead and get started. My earring fell out, so let's go ahead and put this thing back in. Sorry. Oh, they fall out. And there's a beautiful butterfly. All right, so we're gonna start with card 1. And ignore my nails right there. I know I need a fill, but you know what? I really don't have time for that right now. I've been really busy. So we're gonna start off with the Fool, and I'm using my modern witch tarot deck. I love the imagery. I love how updated it is. So card 0, the Fool. Now, my fool's journey starts off with me deciding to go to nursing school while going through a divorce, which is interesting. I had been trying to, oh, there's a beetle right here. I don't know if that's a good luck omen, but I don't know, but we're gonna keep reading. Okay. I had been trying to get into this nursing program for 2 years, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. I had a low-paying job and a 2-year-old son to support, so I was determined to give my son a better life. You see, when I was younger, I struggled with reading, math, etc. And school was a struggle for me. I remember taking a silly test in elementary school, and this test was basically supposed to predict what you would be in life. And all the other students' test results revealed that they would be a nurse, a teacher. Okay, bye little beetle, sorry. A nurse, a teacher, or something pretty cool like that. I remember getting my results, and I ended up crying. My results stated that I would be a housekeeper/janitor. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a housekeeper/janitor. Nothing wrong with it. But to a child who inspired to be a teacher, it was heartbreaking. This was another reason why I really pushed myself. Now, the program was in San Antonio, where me and my soon-to-be ex-husband lived. I let him have the house because I couldn't afford the mortgage. Sorry about that bird. I ended up having to move in with my dad and my stepmom. I had no idea how I was going to do this, but I was determined. That bird is loud. Sorry. Now, for those of you who are learning tarot, the Fool. Okay, the Fool represents a leap of faith, a beginning, being spontaneous, and apparent foolery-like behavior. I also put in a relationship, in a relationship as in feelings in a reading. The person may feel like they want a new start with you, or they may just want to move on to something else. I would really check the surrounding cards to determine what the meaning is for this card. All right, now we're going to go on to card 1, the Magician. Okay, so I moved into my dad's house and my dad and my stepmom's house. My stepmom showed me how I could apply for assistance while going into school. She showed me how to do my FAFSA forms, and she showed me that I had all I needed to succeed and make this happen. The only challenge would be commuting from Austin to San Antonio. See, the Magician. The Magician is all about having everything that you need. She has the sword, the pentacle. I have no idea what that is. I think that's supposed to represent, what is that? Okay, hold on. This imagery is a little bit different from the traditional one that I use, but I've been using this one lately. But she has the sword, the cup, the pentacle, and the stick that represents fire. So she has everything she needs to succeed. So also for those of you who are new to tarot, the Magician basically means action, awareness, concentration, power. Those are side notes that I put. I don't really like to see this in a relationship reading because I'm finding that the person might be putting on a show, not really showing, they might not be real with you. Like it's like an abracadabra type thing. You might be really into the person, but the person isn't really being very truthful. Also, this could mean that you think that the person puts on a good show also. So those are some side notes with the Magician. Now moving on. This is when I encounter the High Priestess. The High Priestess, cards 2. Now, while I'm pushing myself, this is so interesting. I'm sorry. While I'm pushing myself, something inside me tells me to slow down. I tell myself that I got this till one afternoon while driving down the highway, something tells me to pull over on the side of the road, or this will be the last thing you see. I take the next exit, I park my car, and I feel myself blacking out. I awake to the steering wheel, and I look at my hands. I can't open my hands. It was the weirdest thing. My hands were contracted like that. I ask myself what's happening. My heart is beating out my chest. I call 911 and then my sister. Turns out I was suffering from extreme fatigue at the time. All that pushing myself. And I was also suffering from a panic attack. I didn't know what a panic attack was, but it was all the anxiety and everything that I was suppressing. It just all came out at once while I was driving. The most scariest experience of my life. Now, the doctor recommended that I no longer commute like that again. I needed to take a rest. I was devastated. Now, the High Priestess. For those of you who are new to tarot, this means non-action, your subconscious, the unconscious awareness, potential, and mystery. Now, in a relationship, I put that the person feels that there's something about you that draws them in that they can't explain. Something about you that they can't understand why they're so much in love with you, but there's something about you. That's what I get for the High Priestess. Now, this is where I encounter the Empress. Card 3. Now this is when I encounter the Empress. My soon-to-be ex's husband's, my soon-to-be ex-husband's mom calls me and gives me an offer. She says, this beautiful woman, she says I can move in with her because she lives in San Antonio. I can complete the program. I don't have to pay any rent. She would actually even take care of my son's daycare. All she's asking of me is to pass the program. She opened up her home. She was very loving and warm, and I love that woman. That's my encounter with the Empress. Now, the Empress, keyword, mothering, abundance, senses, nature. This can also indicate pregnancy in a reading. That bird is going off today. I'm sorry. Now, in a relationship, the Empress, I love to see this in a relationship reading because if you pull the Empress, the person feels, as in feelings, they feel like you have everything that they could possibly want in a woman. They see you as the mother of their child. They're in awe with you when you get the Empress. So the Empress is a very good card. Now, this is when I encounter the Emperor. Now, after moving in and all that, I'm getting settled. It's Emperor time. Now, this is when I tap into my inner Emperor. Notice how the Emperor, notice how the Emperor is focused to the right. Well, this card, unfortunately, isn't focused to the right, but the traditional Rider Waite, he's focused to the right. Like, he looks mean and he looks determined. So, basically, I tapped into that energy of I was determined. Nothing was going to get in my way. I had focus. I had discipline. There was no BS. That was my encounter, and this is my version of the emperor. Now, I found so much discipline in this nursing program. You know, I had to be disciplined. So that was my encounter with the emperor. Now, the emperor, it's fathering, it's structure, authority, and discipline. In a relationship, it can indicate a controlling nature. You know, I really don't like to see this in a relationship reading or a love reading. Now, the Hierophants. The Hierophants, card 5. Now, on my journey, this is when after the emperor, I encounter the Hierophant. Now, this is sorry about that. These bugs, I love nature, but they're so disrespectful. Okay, so after the emperor, the fool in my journey, which is me. I don't like calling myself a fool. This is when I encounter the emperor. I mean the Hierophant. After finding discipline and structure, I begin to question my own beliefs. You see, while going through the program, I meet a wonderful man. He's very different than the rest. He gets me, and we have an unbelievably strong friendship. I'm still living with my soon-to-be ex's mother and still legally married. So I basically decide to keep it a secret because I knew so many people would disapprove. So this is when I question, you know, my beliefs and what you should do, conforming. I question that, and I kind of went my own way. Now, the Hierophant, open my book. This is education, belief systems, conformity, and group identification. In a relationship reading, the funny thing is the person might feel like you're a bit of a guru, but also they may feel like you're someone that gives really good advice. You're a go-to person. So there's the Hierophant. Now, after I question my beliefs and I decide to keep things a secret with the Hierophant, I encounter the Lovers. Okay, the Lovers can also represent a choice too, which is interesting. But after I encounter the Hierophant, I choose to continue my relationship with this wonderful guy. I try to keep it a secret, but it gets out. I finalize my divorce. I graduate and move out of my ex's mom's house. I get a place for me and my son, and then a year later, me and that wonderful man named David move in together. He asked me to marry him, and I say yes. A beautiful time in my life. Now, the Lovers. Relationship. This beetle is now crawling on my hand. It will not leave me alone. Sorry. Go away, little beetle. Okay. The Lovers. It means relationship, sexuality, a choice, like I said earlier, a union. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory when you see the Lovers in a love reading. That basically means they see you guys together. I mean, it's happiness, it's bliss. They see that you're a match for them. The Lovers is good. Now, after all that happiness and all that bliss, I done moved in with my boo. With the Lovers, I'm feeling just great. You know, I'm feeling unstoppable. The Chariot right here. Okay? After I encounter the Lovers, I find out that I'm pregnant. Okay? I'm excited. My job is going well. Life is looking up. My pregnancy is a little bit, you know, tough, but I remain positive. Our son is born healthy and perfect. Life is great until my husband's job changes his schedule. This is when the shit hits the fan, guys. The shit really hits the fan. His hours now affect my hours, and I can't seem to get any family to help pick up my oldest son from school, because remember, they changed his hours, which was just freaking crazy. Now we are struggling to buy basic stuff because I've had to cut down my hours, and I can only basically work weekends here and there. My paycheck has been cut tremendously, and now we find ourselves struggling to buy basic stuff. I remember struggling to buy food. I even remember, I remember feeding my son and not able to feed myself. But my son never knew that, you know. I got knocked off my chariot, just like the fool does in his journey. Sorry, I get emotional with this part. I got knocked off my chariot, and I ended up asking, you know, I ended up thinking, you know, I failed. I fell into a depression. I started to think to myself, if this is what life has in store for me, is this really what life has in store for me? I felt like an epic failure. The chariot. Now, the chariot represents in meanings in a reading victory, will, self-assured, hard control. In a relationship, the person really wants to move forward with you, but sometimes they can really want to move forward with you when, you know, the relationship might show signs that it's not really supposed to be, you know, moving, but they still want to push forward. So I really don't like that, this card in a reading. But, you know, also check surrounding cards, and always use your intuition to make yourself a really good tarot card reader. Now, I'm going to stop the video right here because we are at 16 minutes, and I'll be uploading part 2. Bye. Okay guys, hi, welcome back. This is part 2, okay? My last video, I got knocked off my chariot. I was devastated. I was asking, you know, is this life, if this is what life has for me? Like, this is ridiculous. I felt like I had done everything right. I went back to school, but, you know, life happens. That's life. So, after the chariot, I needed to gather my strength. Okay, the strength card, card 8. Okay, while I'm feeling like I was a failure, I had to gather my strength and keep going. I can't give up. I have 2 kids now that look up to me. That's when my husband gets a call from an old friend that tells him about a job in a small town in Maryland. We have to relocate, but my husband would get better pay in Maryland. My husband takes the job, and the next thing you know, we're living in another state. Strength. Now the strength card. Patience, compassion, strong control, and strength. Straight up strength. In a relationship, the person may feel, I'm finding that they feel that you are really strong, but you need to check surrounding cards and always use your intuition. Or they can feel like they have the strength to continue going with you, the long haul with you. Strength. Now, after my encounter with strength, I encounter the hermit. I go into hermit mode. Now, I've gathered my strength and I've relocated to another state. It's a beautiful place, but the jobs for nurses in this area are hard to find. They are either too far or the hours are just crazy. I end up taking a job as a housekeeper. The very thing that stupid test told me I would become. Oh my gosh, that was a hit. I feel isolated and alone. I withdraw from family and friends, which I don't really have that many friends, so really it was family. I spent a lot of time alone. One day I see a video of tarot cards, and for some reason I purchased them. I still don't know. Oh, I know why. It was my calling, but I didn't know why. I just purchased them. I began teaching myself tarot and even starting doing readings on other people. I did readings at people on work too, and they came out accurate. It was pretty cool. I also started seeing the positive in being a housekeeper. I learned new ways to clean my home. And I got to see some very nice homes. Now, the positive side of all of this, even though I was working as a housekeeper and I started to think that teacher was correct. I saw the positive. I started to turn my experience into a positive experience. I learned great, fantastic ways on how to clean my home fast and effectively, and I can clean a mean bathroom. I am like the master, and I can make a toilet paper flower, okay? Can't tell me nothing. And I still make those sometimes to this day. So, the Hermit. The Hermit, card 10. This is introspection, searching, guidance, solitude. In a relationship, the person may feel like they need some time alone, some separation time from you. Now, the Wheel of Fortune. After I was in hermit mode, my fortune starts to change. My fortune started to change because I changed my perspective on how things were. This was actually, and this is actually in the Fool's Journey, the turning point, okay? The turning point in my journey. I discovered that I have a new talent. I could predict future events. Pretty cool talent to do. I learned about the law of attraction and realized that I could create my reality. Soon after this, I get a new job as a private duty nurse. Oh, hold on. I think I might sneeze. And I'm not editing, so. Okay. It passed. Okay. Where was I? Okay. I did the law of attraction, and soon after I get a job as a private duty nurse, and I'm making good money, but it seems like every time I make a little money, there's always some kind of setback. It's like I'm constantly playing catch up. So I get a new job and this turning point, but I learned that I have this talent for predicting, future events and reading people. But, I'm constantly getting these little setbacks. Like, my husband got ran over by a heifer at his job. So annoying. Okay, that sounds selfish. I was really concerned when he got ran over by a heifer. He's okay, but it was unbelievable stuff. It was just unbelievable stuff. He's walking, he's fine, but it was the most craziest stuff that would happen. And when I'd get a little money, it's gone. And I started to ask, what is going on? But this was a turning point in my life. Now, the Wheel of Fortune, destiny, turning point, movement, personal vision. In a relationship, the person might feel like you're a bit bipolar. I get this card a lot when I'm asking how my husband feels about me. He thinks I'm bipolar. I think he needs to clean up some stuff around the house. That's what I think he needs to do. But anyway, back to my journey. Okay. After the turning point with the Wheel of Fortune, I encounter justice. Card 11. Sorry, there's hair in my face. Now I'm wanting justice for my situation. I keep getting setbacks and delays. I'm looking back on everything, and it really pisses me off. I felt that I did everything right. Why did all this happen, I ask. Justice. Justice. The meaning of justice is justice, responsibility, decision, cause and effect. In a relationship, this is quite interesting. The person may actually want revenge, I'm seeing in readings, but check surrounding card. Or they're basically basing their relationship off of logic, and they're not really following their heart when it comes to a relationship. It's just maybe the person that they're interested in is a very logical choice for them. Justice. Now, after justice, I encounter the Hangman. If you can see that, the Hangman. While I'm asking myself, why me? An inner voice tells me, maybe you're going the wrong direction. And maybe this is just life. I started to change my perspective. I also heard a voice tell me, my inner voice, it was telling me that I needed to be grateful for what I had and maybe see things from a different perspective. So that's when I changed my view here. I really started to think that, maybe I'm being pushed into another direction and it's trying to get my attention. So the hangman, letting go, suspension, sacrifice, meanings of the hangman. In a relationship, this can mean that this is kind of interesting. The person is not really willing to change. That's what I'm noticing in a relationship reading. And also, I see in some readings, the person might be having a different point of view of you. But the majority of the time, I'm seeing that they're just kind of like not willing to move and cooperate or do anything. Now, after hearing that internal voice that maybe I'm being pushed into another direction, and maybe this is just life, and maybe, you know, I need to be grateful, I changed how I saw things, and then I encountered death. Now, death. Suddenly I realized that nursing is not something I wanted to do. What I love to do is tarot. Why am I not doing tarot, I asked myself. This is when I started a YouTube channel. Hi everyone. I started a YouTube channel and I shedded my old identity. And I feel much more connected to my new identity, my death experience. Death, an ending, transition, elimination. In a relationship, the person may feel as if something needs to change in the relationship. It can't stay the same. There needs to be a drastic change. Now, I'm going to move this a little bit because I feel like it's just a little better. I don't know. I feel like that sun is basically driving me insane. So just bear with me. And no, I'm not editing it out. Okay. I feel like it's in my face. Okay, so I asked myself why I'm not doing tarot, because that's what I love. I realized that, you know, nursing is not something that I want to do. Card 13. Now, meanings of the death card is ending, transition, elimination, and family. And I just said this, didn't I? I'm so sorry. And I said in the relationship that they feel like there needs to be a major change. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And no, I'm not editing. I kind of just want to get it out there. So, sorry about that. Death. Now, after my death, I encountered temperance. Temperance. Card 14. Now that I've shedded my old identity and I started a YouTube channel, I soon find out that it's not that easy. Being a wife, mother, and working full-time makes it hard. I put in the time into my channel, but I'm struggling to find balance between my family life and doing this dream of doing a tarot channel. Temperance. Now, temperance. Card meaning actually means temperance. It can mean balance, health, patience. In a relationship, the person feels like there needs to be a lot of compromising in the relationship. I'm seeing there needs to be a lot of compromise. You guys might have major different religious views or something that's big, and there's just a lot of compromise. Now, this is when I encounter the devil, because right after temperance comes the devil. The devil. Now, as I'm struggling to find balance, I start to doubt myself. I watch other tarot card readers on YouTube and I start to compare myself to them. Will I ever be as good as them, or should I give up? My channel is not moving. At this point, my channel is not really growing, and it's still growing kind of slow. And I feel like I just want to give up. The devil. Bondage, materialism, ignorance, hopelessness. In a relationship, the person can't leave you alone, I'm getting. They feel like there's something very addicting about you. They can't get enough of you. Even though they feel like you're not that good for them, they're very addicted. A lot of strong sexual chemistry there too. Kind of like that bad boy. You know the bad boy isn't good for you, but he's really hot as hell. So you keep messing with him. That's that interpretation with the devil card. Now, after the devil, sorry, it's hot out here. It's so hot. Oh my gosh. Okay, after my encounter with the devil, I encounter the tower. I have a tower moment. You see, I stopped working on my channel for a while and life goes on. And I remember my job sent me to a new case. Now I do private duty nursing. And when I went to this patient's house, I saw a sign that said New Beginnings. And then when I was doing his treatments, I would see another sign that said New Beginnings right out the window. So I felt like the universe was trying to tell me to start anew. And then it finally hit me. I knew what my problem was. I've been trying to imitate other tarot card readers and not being my authentic self. So that's when I had my aha moment. You know what, LaShonda? You need to do things a bit different. You need to bring your authentic self. And that was my lightning bolt. Everything that I believed, basically everything I believed about what makes a good tarot reader totally changed. It's really about being yourself, being your authentic self, and your audience will come to you. The Tower. Sudden change, release, fall down, revelation. As in relationships, seeing the Tower, the person feels off guard about you. There's something about you that has changed their whole beliefs, like something that they believed in strongly. You came into their life and changed it. For some reason, I'm getting that Genuine song, My Whole Life Has Changed Since You Came In. I don't know. I read with music too. But that's what I see with the Tower. But also check surrounding cards too, okay? And always use your intuition. That's what's going to make you a wonderful tarot card reader. Now, these bugs. The Star. After having my Tower moment, my healing begins. I start taking better care of myself because I realize I haven't. I feel like I've been chasing a nursing career that didn't even serve me and made me feel drained and unhappy. And I find myself again. I even heal relationships with my family and the one friend I have. But I start healing myself and, from everything that I've been through. Now the Star. This fly don't get the hell on. Okay. Now the Star. It represents hope, inspiration, healing, serenity. Relationships. The person may feel like you're out of reach. And I've also seen in readings that they may actually feel like you're a star. You have star quality, like you're a star to them. But like I say, check surrounding cards. Now, after the Star on my journey, I encounter the Moon. The Moon, if you can see it. I encounter the Moon. Now, I feel healed, but there's just one thing that's bothering me. What direction do I take my channel? I'm still confused. The Moon. Now, the Moon. It basically represents fear. It does represent illusions, imagination, bewilderment. And I also see with the Moon card, it represents going your own direction. Not going with the crowd, but basically in advice, it's talking about going your own direction. Now, in relationships, the Moon, the person may feel, basically there's something very unknown about you. There's too many unknown factors, like they need to get to know more about you. I'm getting. Okay, after the Moon, I encounter the Sun. Still confused, I ask God to show me a way. I know I need to take a different approach this time, but how do I do that? And that's when I have an interesting dream. I'm talking to an old nursing school teacher, and she tells me, why don't you start teaching tarot? I wake up from this dream like, how in the hell am I going to do that? I'm still learning tarot. And that's when I get the idea to update the Fool's Journey, basically to tell my Fool's Journey in hopes that it's a little more relatable to other people in their current situation. Now everything makes sense. I feel the sun. The sun, enlightenment, greatness, vitality, assurance. In a relationship, the person feels like they can be themselves around you. They feel free. They feel happy. The sun card is a very good card to get in a relationship reading. Now, after the sun, I encounter judgment. This is when I feel that I'm answering the call. I feel the heavens are opening up, and I'm trusting where the divine is leading me. Judgment. Now, one thing I love about this card is the people are coming out of their boxes and they're raising their hands to this angel up in the sky when they're at a crossroads. See the cross? And that's what I feel. I'm at the crossroads, and now I'm just finally at this point letting go and letting God. Now, judgment, rebirth, inner calling. In feelings, the person may want a second chance. Also, in love readings, they may want some type of forgiveness from you. They want forgiveness. Now, this brings us to the last card in the journey, the World, card 21. This is the last card of the Fool's Journey. I've had my ups and downs. I've had my highs and lows. And now I'm sharing my gift to the world. I've been knocked off my chariot. I've tried working on my channel and it hasn't moved the way I wanted it. But now I feel like I know where I'm headed. So I wanted to share this creative idea with you, with, sharing my Fool's Journey. And that's what the world's all about. It's about sharing your gifts to the world, and being yourself and letting yourself be seen. And that's what I'm doing. There will be different things I'll be doing to my channel to kind of change, because I'm still on that journey of self-discovery. But I hope you liked my Fool's Journey. I encourage you to make your own Fool's Journey. The World, for those who are learning, this is integration, accomplishment, involvement, fulfillment. In relationships, I don't like to see this card because it basically means that the person feels as if they've completed a cycle with you, and they basically learned everything and they really do want to move on with you. And that's interesting. I get this card as things being finalized versus death. And I just wanted to say, through my Fool's Journey, I had to take a leap of faith, and that actually led me to a different state that I am in now. And I want to show you guys this. Y'all can't see. All of this is where I'm at now. Can you see it? I think you can see it. All that water right there. Yeah, I think you can see it right there. I'm in a beautiful place now in my life. So, life happens and we move on. All right, thank you so much for listening to my Fool's Journey, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.